Good morning. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Domingo. Our topic for today is about money laundering. Have you heard about money laundering? Here are some questions and answers that I am going to read that can help us. Okay? Number one question is, what is money laundering and why is it illegal? Now, money laundering is the process by which criminals attempt to conceal the illicit origin and ownership of the proceeds of their unlawful activities. By means of money laundering, criminals attempt to transform the proceeds from their crimes into funds of an apparently legal origin. Number two question. What is the purpose of money laundering? Because the objective of money laundering is to get the illegal funds back to the individual who generated them, launderers usually prefer to move funds through stable financial systems. Money laundering activity may also be concentrated geographically according to the states the laundered funds have reached. Number three, what is considered as money laundering? Money laundering involves disguising financial assets so they can be used without detection of the illegal activity that produced them. Through money laundering, the criminal transforms the money proceeds derived from criminal activity into funds with an apparently legal source. What is the most common way to launder money? Most common money laundering methods are the structuring of large amounts of money into multiple small transactions as banks, often called smurfing. Number two, the use of foreign exchanges. Number three, cash smugglers and wire transfers to move money across borders. Number four, investing in high value and movable commodities such as diamonds and golds. Number three, discreetly buying and selling valuable assets such as real estate, foreign bank accounts, counterfeiting, gambling, and shell companies. Another question, is washing money illegal in the U.S.? To combat this criminal activity, Congress passed the Bank Secrecy Act of 1970, which requires banks to report any financial transactions of $10,000 and one or more. Congress followed up this act 16 years later with the Money Laundering Control Act of 1986, which rendered money laundering a federal crime. How do criminals launder money? Money can be laundered through one-line auctions and sales, gambling websites, and even virtual gaming sites. Ill-gotten money is converted into the currency that is used on these sites, then transferred back into real, usable, and untraceable clean money. A spin on phishing scams for a victim's bank account. How can a person commit a money laundering? It is committed by the following: any person knowing that any monetary instrument or property represents, involves, or relates to the process of any unlawful activity, transacts or attempts to transact said monetary instrument or property. How can you tell someone is laundering money? Warning signs include repeated transactions in amounts just under $10,000 or by different people on the same day in one account, internal transfers between accounts, followed by large outlays and false social security numbers. Do banks wash money? Most bills will remain intact in the washer and dryer, but while a wash cycle may make your money look untamed, it nonetheless ruins the bills. Hot water can damage security features, and detergents change the way cash reflects light, which currency sorting machines detect. What are the 5 basic money laundering offenses? Tax evasion. This is when people use offshore accounts to avoid declaring their full income level, and as a result, they can avoid paying their full amount in tax. Theft, fraud, bribery, and terrorist financing. How much cash can you have at home? There's no legal limit on how much money you can keep at home. Some limits exist with bringing money into the country and in the form of cash gifts, but there's no regulation on how much you can keep at home. What is the best example of money laundering? Casino laundering. By purchasing chips with the dirty funds, gambling a small amount, and turning the total chips back in for cash, someone could theoretically claim all of the money as gambling winnings. As a result, banks are often suspicious of these winnings and may suspect you of money laundering. What businesses are used to launder money? Businesses that deal in high volumes of cash, such as restaurants, are most commonly used to launder money, though any kind of business, including those that deal in electronic payments, can be used for money laundering. Where do drug dealers hide their money? Drug cartels hide their profits by flushing them through the vast global financial market using various methods, including internet payment platforms, cryptocurrencies, payment cards, and real estate. Then they use the laundered cash to underwrite their trafficking. What amount of money is considered suspicious? $10,000. Ever wondered how much cash deposit is suspicious? The rule, as created by Bank Secrecy Act, declares that any individual or business receiving more than $10,000 in a single or multiple cash transaction is legally obligated to report this to the Internal Revenue Service. How to legally hide money from government? How do churches launder money? By receiving anonymous donations through sites whose origin may not be explained. Chassis become the perfect money laundering machine, said Gorbero, who is taking part in a probe. There may be a clash of interest between freedom of religious worship and the prevention of money laundering. What is black money? Black money includes all funds earned through illegal activity and otherwise legal income that is not recorded for tax purposes. Black money proceeds are usually in cash from underground economic activity and as such are not taxed. What are red flags for suspicious activity? The guidance lists potential red flags in a number of categories, including customer due diligence and interactions with customers, deposits or securities trading, money movements, and insurance products. Is it legal to wash money? Money laundering is the illegal process of converting money earned from illegal activities into clean money. That is money that can be freely used in legitimate business operations and does not have to be concealed from authorities. What happens if you are convicted of money laundering? Anyone convicted of money laundering could be sentenced up to 20 years of incarceration and fines up to $500,000 or twice the value of the property that was involved in the transaction, whichever amount is greater. Those who are involved with money laundering offenses can also face other related criminal charges. What can I do with large amounts of cash? If you receive a lump sum of money, it's important to consider how you can use it to achieve your financial and personal goals. Pay down debt. One of the best long-term investments you can make is to pay off high-interest debt now. Build your emergency fund. Save and invest. Treat yourself. What are the red flags of money laundering? Fund transfer activity is unexplained, repetitive, or shows unusual patterns. Payments of receipts with no apparent links to legitimate contracts, goods, and services are received. Fund transfers are sent or received from the same person to or from different accounts. What does cleaning money mean? Money laundering is the illegal process of making large amounts of money generated from a criminal activity such as drug trafficking or terrorist funding appear to have come from legitimate source. The money from the criminal activity is considered dirty, and the process launders is to make it look clean. What is the minimum sentence for money laundering? Jail time, a minimum sentence of 16 months and up to 4 years in jail. The fine is a staggering $250,000 or twice the amount of money laundered. For the purposes of calculating the fine, the court imposes the higher of the two amounts, combination jail time and fine. Why do drug dealers launder money? In order to invest the profits of their illicit activities and avoid having their assets seized by the government. Drug traffickers must transform the monetary proceeds from their criminal activity to revenue from apparently legal sources. This is known as money laundering. How dirty is cash money? In fact, numerous studies have found that cash often carries traces of cocaine, heroin, human waste, yeast, mold, E. coli, and many other substances, especially when it comes to pocket change, which changes hands almost constantly. How does money get dirty? Studies show that a solid majority of U.S. bills are contaminated by cocaine. Drug traffickers often use coke solid hands to move cash, and many users roll bills into sniffing straws and brushes rollers in ATMs may distribute the nose candy through the rest of the money supply. How serious is money laundering? Money laundering is a serious crime under federal law. A violation of 18 U.S.K. 1956 can result in a sentence of up to 20 years in prison. How can I prove I am not laundering money? When it comes to providing proof of funds, you can do so via the following means: an agreement in principle, mortgage in principle, bank statements of your deposit amount, bank statements of your cash amount. What is the safest place to keep money? Savings accounts are a safe place to keep their money because all deposits made by consumers are guaranteed by the FDIC for bank accounts or the NCUA for credit union accounts. Certificates of deposit issued by banks and credit unions also carry deposit insurance. Where can I store large amounts of money? High-yield savings account, certificate of deposit, money market account, checking account, treasury bills, short-term bonds, riskier options, stocks, real estate, and gold. Use a financial planner to help you decide. Can I hide my savings? There is no guaranteed way to physically hide one's savings to claim benefits without practicing redeemable actions such as keeping one's money in offshore accounts or deliberate transfer of capital. Can the government see how much money is in your bank account? The short answer, yes. The IRS probably already knows about many of your financial accounts. The IRS can get information how much is there, but in reality, the IRS rarely digs deeper into your bank and financial accounts unless you're being audited or the IRS is collecting back taxes from you. Where do billionaires hide their money? One of the most common ways people hide their wealth in tax havens is by setting up a legal vehicle like a corporation or trust to hold their wealth or assets without disclosing information about their identity is about the wealth or assets held by the legal vehicle. How do I open a secret bank account? When you decide on the bank you would like to use to open your secret bank account, you will need to provide certain information about yourself. In the US, it is common policy for a bank to request your social security number, phone number, birth date, and other personal identifiers. AML awareness. 3 stages of money laundering. Money laundering has one purpose: to turn the process of crime into cash or property that looks legitimate and can be used without suspicion. Here are some of the most common ways this is achieved. Number 1, placement. Number 2, layering. Number 3, integration or extraction. Now, placement. Cash businesses. Adding the cash gain from crime to legitimate takings. This works best in business with little or no variable costs such as car parks, strip clubs, tanning studios, car washes, and casinos. False invoicing. Putting through dummy invoices to match cash flag, making it look like payment in settlement of the false invoice. Smurfing. Lodging small amounts of money below the MAL reporting threshold to bank accounts or credit cards, then using these to pay expenses. etc. Trusts and offshore companies, useful for hiding the identity of the real beneficial owners. Foreign bank accounts, physically taking small amounts of cash abroad below a customs declaration threshold, lodging in foreign bank accounts, then sending back to the country of origin. Aborted transactions. Funds are lodged with a lawyer or accountant to hold in their client account to settle a proposed transaction. After a short time, the transaction is aborted. Funds are repaid to the client from an unimpeachable source. Layering. Layering is essentially the use of placement and transaction and extraction over and over again using varying amounts each time to make tracing transactions as hard as possible. Integration or extraction. The final stage is getting the money out so it can be used without attracting attention from law enforcement or the tax authorities. In this regard, criminals are often content to pay payroll and other taxes to make the washing more legitimate and are often happy with a 50% shrinkage in the West. Fake employees, a way of getting the money back out, usually paid in cash and collected. Loans to directors or shareholders which will never be repaid. Dividends paid to shareholders or companies controlled by criminals. Yun lang yung nabasa kong mga questions and answers about money laundering. And for those customers or businessmen na gustong mag-deposit sa bangko or merong mga nabenta ng mga properties, pag nag-deposit kayo sa bangko, meron talagang SOP doon. Hahanapan ka ng proof of income. Nasaan galing yung pera mo na i-deposit mo na ganun kalaki. Ganun na ngayon sa bangko. So that mahihirapan konti ang mga money launderers. And that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. God bless and keep smiling.